Hey, we are back from Can't Get By You at NOLA Motorsports Park. I am Eric, and with me is Mental. You may remember Mental from the 2020 season wrap-up. Now, obviously, we've COVIDed a couple of races at the end of 2020, so this was our season opener for 2021 at NOLA. And gotta say, what a great ambiance for lemons that NOLA has. As usual with these wrap-up videos, we'll go into some butt turbles and hella sweets, and the first butt turble this time had nothing to do with lemons, actually. There was a karting event going on at NOLA's karting track, and their weekend and our weekend started out the same way, watching a repo guy show up to take home Karting Dad's tow rig. It seems that future Lance Stroll's dad maybe wasn't paying some bills, which sucks for him, but hopefully the kid won so they could, U-Haul home.
In a future 30 for 30 NASCAR special, well, I was at the kart track and a repo guy took Dad's truck, so I knew I had to win for the family. Hello, sweet eBay Motors. Now, eBay signed on to sponsor the first few races of 2021, including this one. And we're working on getting them involved with some events a bit more, but we know they've talked one YouTuber into preparing a car. We also know that's where you get parts and sometimes entire cars. So from eBay all the time, we actually think it's a natural fit.
Hella sweet at this race was Lemon's first Cadillac ETC. We can't imagine a better car for Lemons than one whose model acronym, put on the car itself, is Latin for and so forth. This car, with a non-grandpa set of wheels and the lower body painted black, kind of looks freaking awesome.
It was actually so awesome, they brought two North Star powered cars, which was handy because predictably the Eldorado Touring Coupe blew up.
Both of this team's cars are track prepped, but as any good Cadillac owner should, they left in the full dash, including the center console with the fake wood, the air conditioning, pretty much everything. And they did save a little bit of weight, though, by removing the trunk shocks.
Hell Sweet was our C-Class winners, Lemon's first Pontiac G6, who started Sunday in the top 10 and finished 11th overall. These guys used to have a BMW that broke all the time, and they saw that we were begging people to run a Pontiac G6. They found one the next day, bought from some kind of meth-addled compound in East Texas, slapped on some Bondo, and narrowly won Class C against the General Motors Titan, the Cadillac CTS with a carbureted 4.3-liter truck engine.
Now, you might think, is it that simple? Can I just ditch my boring-ass BMW and have more fun with a Pontiac? And the answer is,
well, yes.
This V6 G6, of course, had the GM sound of power. GM sound of power.
like all great road racers, these guys, of course, had no idea that they'd actually won Class C at the end of the race. They came in off the parade lap, and we said, "Hey, congratulations." And the driver, of course, said, "For what?" Once they found out, they were pretty ecstatic, and they came off the track, and everything was great until they got to the victory parade staging lap, where the transmission puked its guts absolutely everywhere.
Hella sweet, Ginger Racing's Van Duke. Now, normally we don't care who wins the race, and it remains true for this one, but Ginger Racing's team captain was all bandaged up that weekend. We had to ask why. And we should also mention, he did buy the Lemon Staff dinner Sunday night at Cooter Brown's.
One more hella sweet. These guys towed their Ford Focus. Previously the Don't Tread on Me, then No Step on Sneck, then now No Step on Judge Eric, all the way from Minnesota. So they'd gone the entire length of the Mississippi River. They were about the 50th quickest car there, finished 6th overall. Stop trying to go fast, just go long.
Oh. But terrible. Our buddy Melvin has embraced the Lemon's rubber tramp lifestyle. But at this race, Melvin hella blowed up both of his cars. All of that after a lovely engagement shower gift. Kind of but terrible college kids. Now, every so often we'll get a group of college or high school kids who have some kind of extracurricular activity with a Lemons car. These kids showed up with a Miata that was their engineering project for a grade. For a grade. All they had to do was win the race to get an A. I think.
No. All they had to do was pass tech inspection. Didn't have to put it on the track. Didn't have to turn a single lap. They just needed to make their race car pass tech. Not actually race.
Now, I do know one of the things that they had to research as part of the project was radiator flow rates. Want to guess what killed their car?
We're pretty sure right after this video goes live that the Chrysler job offers are going to roll right in. Hella sweet for Lemons. A lot of people email us and ask, man, I don't know how to make a theme. I don't know how to do anything like that. And they show up with like a black BMW. That sucks. Don't do that. The hella sweet part, early internet memes. This team went to their hometown of Mobile, Alabama for that town's legend. This is, of course, the incredible Mobile, Alabama Leprechaun sighting from about 15 years ago. Now, if you're unfamiliar, here's kind of the key points.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All you gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun say yeah?
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff.
So in the time since that news report went live, yes, that was a real news report that reported on that. There's now a Mobile Leprechaun pop-up shop where you can buy all kinds of Mobile Leprechaun treasures. They brought us some of those for a bribe. That was super hella sweet.
But terrible, battle-scarred motorsports driving.
Seriously, almost every single penalty went to them this weekend.
This is what we love and hate about these guys. They rotate like 1,000 drivers in. Most of them are awful. But when they get a penalty, they fully commit. Being out of ideas, we actually had to dig up the old sexy car wash, but instead of wash their car, we had them wash the track manager's truck.
That thing hella nasty.
Now, the perpetrator in this particular instance is an actual New Orleans motorcycle police officer. He actually gets mistaken for a stripper a lot. And that even happened Friday night when he showed up at the track. Is 3 of the ladies on Battlescarred walked over and said, "Oh, let me guess. We're making too much noise. You need to pat us down." It also doesn't help that his actual name is Packer.
Oh, yeah. Blown head gasket. Beefcake. Oh, baby. So disturbing.
But Turbo, Escape Velocity's Turbo Dart. This thing's been around for years and years and years, and being ancient along with some experimental parts may be hard to get. When they lost their crank, they had to call a teammate in Houston who had to break into the team captain's garage, dig through a whole pile of Mopar garbage, find the spare crank of unknown quality, board a flight for New Orleans, and show up with the backup crankshaft. Somehow it all worked together. Pretty hella sweet in the end, but the general concept but terrible.
Hella sweet, number 79, Pinto Squatch. Now, you may remember Nearly Adequate Racing's Ford Pinto from such previous hits as Pinto loses gas tank and catches fire, and blowed up in 60 seconds. This time around, it was different. They brought more than one spare engine. They blew up 2 of them, but the third one got them to finish the race. Finally.
However, this Pinto is like the Arctic snow possum. Anytime we see it go on the track, we always run to go get footage of it.
Oh my God, Pinto!
Pinto! Pinto! I'm ready.
And every time we do that, it breaks. It's like we're causing it to break or something, but it's a in tow, so it does that on its own. Anyway, we can't get a goddamn video of this thing to save our lives, and any attempt to do it ends up looking like we're getting a Sasquatch video from one of them Discovery Channel shows. That brings us to the trophies for the weekend. We'll start with the heroic fix, which went to car number 192, Breaking Bad Racing, with their BMW. Now, they've put an LS engine into this thing, and it looks nicer than it really is. It's kind of a true junkyard build, mostly falling apart, real sketchy to drive. And as it turns out, the LS they put into it didn't have a dipstick on it because it had the electronic oil monitoring system in its original car, which was the Isuzu Ascender.
Wait, what the is an Isuzu Ascender?
It's big enough to put him in back and not smell his breath. Introducing the 2004 Isuzu Ascender.
Now, an Isuzu Ascender, surely there's no way they're ever going to run across another engine from one of those. To the surprise of no one, with an engine with no dipstick, they ran it out of oil and blew it up on Friday's practice session. Now, the crew immediately went searching for another engine.
As they're leaving the track, a trailer goes by with a wrecked Yukon on a trailer. Most people think nothing of this, but the Breaking Bad guys see an engine donor. They spend the next 15 minutes running this guy down in traffic and try and get that engine, which he won't sell them because he's going to fix that truck. But he will sell them another LS, which does not have a dipstick in it because it is from an Isuzu Ascender. Now, unfortunately, they tear the oil pan off this Ascender engine to find it's got a hole in the crank, which leads to a late night quest for a third engine, which somehow they find.
They thrash all night, as most heroic fixers do, and they get the thing on the track in time for the green flag. Ran most of the weekend aside from some brake and oil pan gasket issues, but they took the checkered on Sunday, and their paddock space, when the race ended, looked kind of like a mechanical horror show. I got screwed at this race, went to the 112 Mazda Miata, tow mater as it were. Tow mater's engine also blew up on the test day, and they didn't have a spare, nor did their paddock neighbors who also were running a Miata. No biggie, they said. They found an entire Miata in Gulfport, Mississippi, about 2.5 hours away. So they trucked on over in their tow vehicle, picked up the Miata with a good engine, and they paid only $2,500 for it. And then they drove it back with no plates, registration, anything like that. And we arrived Saturday morning just to kind of check on them as we do, right in time for them to, fire it up. Hadn't slept, they look like crap, and as it's fired up, the first thing anybody heard was a whole bunch of lifter noise. You would think they would remember that from, driving the car 2.5 hours, but somehow they missed it, went home with 9 laps and a broken Miata and $2,500 fewer dollars. Hella screwed. The regional trophy at this race, which we named specifically for this event, was called the 2 Wrongs and 1 Right Trophy, and it went to the half-fast racing Volkswagen Beetles. Now, this is a family team made up of a dad, a mom, their kid, and their kid's hopeless college friends. They have 3 Volkswagen Beetles. Now, you would think they would all be identical, but they are not. There is the good one, the less good one, and the slow one. So they've expanded their crew to include some twins and a whole bunch of other kids. They were all super enthused about it, and as it turns out, the slow, crappy one kicked the crap out of both of the turbo Beetles. So goes to show, you bring 2 wrong ones and you bring the right one. Simple, probably better in this case.
Judge's choice was the number 25 Porsche 914. Suffice it to say, excellence was not expected. So when this 914 showed up with an article from the Panorama, Porsche's club magazine, not only did they draw inspiration from Panorama, they scored the car for free from some PCA dude who basically explained it was a pile of not really great parts, all assembled but not really assembled. Now, we were pretty surprised to see it run all weekend. Was the team completely clueless?
Yes.
Did it smoke?
Yes.
Did it drip? Well, drip is a nice word. Did it leave oil everywhere?
Yes.
Was it slow?
Yes.
Did they figure out what they were doing?
Yeah.
Organizers' choice at this race went to the Winded Warriors and their Dodge Dakota. And we get asked what we actually want to see in Lemons. And the answer is this. This thing right here is exactly what we want to see in Lemons. These are former military guys, and they brought their Dodge Dakota exactly as they bought it for $500, with just the safety items and a couple of idiot gauges added. Now, the engine is the sad piece of crap AMC 4-cylinder that most people have never had to deal with unless they had a base model Jeep. And on a good day when it's running, it'd make about 80 horsepower and also reshape your dental work because it wasn't very balanced. The truck had stock suspension, the truck tires, and the bed cover was made out of his neighbor's shed. Literally cut some pieces off it and, painted it so it was a little above suspicion. Was it fast? Hell no. Didn't matter. They were having the time of their lives. They tossed their sleeping bags right on the pavement, slept next to their crap can, and, they didn't finish last. Totally awesome. Love these guys. Can't wait to see them back.
And of course, that brings us to the IOE. Team Go and their Dodge Monaco, spelled in the proper Louisiana way. Now, it's pretty rare to see a new team just nail every single aspect of Lemons so well, but it was clear with these guys from the moment they emailed us about a year ago that they were going to show up and make a splash. We've got some NHRA Sportsman drag racers, and a bunch of them do the Great Race as well, and they all have pre-war and pre-1960s crab cans. But despite owning 3 of these, one, a faithful Blues Brothers movie-quality replica, they themed this one as kind of a Buford T. Justice Sheriff J.W. Pepper Southern Police special. Why? Because it's actually a former cop car. So yeah, as you may have guessed, it's got a cop motor, a 440 cubic inch plant. It's got cop tires, cop
suspension,
cop shocks. It's a model made before catalytic converters, so it'll run good on regular gas. And this one did have a 440 cubic inch plant. This car and the spare they brought were amazing. Bonus, they also hate Illinois Nazis. The team made it clear before, during, and even after the event, they were not there to race. They were there to have fun, and they were so much fun. And helpful. We made Battle Scarred follow them so they could learn how not to spin their former police car. Despite having that giant engine, their best lap was deep into the 2s, but it ran all weekend, and they absolutely did the best with the least.
That brings us to Lemons in a nutshell.
My Camaro broke down, right? So we were headed back, and these signs were just kind of, up on the side of the road by the prison, and we decided that they would be better in our possession, so.
Okay, so don't go back out and spin again. No spin. Go. Crank this up.
Are we making too much noise? do you need to pat us down for weapons?